Hello, midlife learners. Today, I want to talk to you about how I save time and write my papers on the go using speech to text. If you're an older learner and you are dealing with the responsibilities of a job or kids or family caregiving or church, whatever it is that you're busy with, you don't really have time to sit at your computer all day and work on papers. You still want to be moving forward. And so, speech to text is a great way to do that. But my approach is a little bit different than what you might see elsewhere. I'm not a fan of using speech to text on my phone. I don't want to be interrupted by notifications. I don't want to get distracted. I really want to be able to focus on what I'm working on. And sometimes I want to go out without my device and just walk around and think and talk a little bit, talking to a device. And so what I use is this little recorder, this little Sony recorder, and I can put a link in the comments so that you can find this exact model, but it really doesn't matter which model you use. The benefit of using a recorder like this is that, especially when I'm driving, if I'm going to pick up my kids at the bus stop or I'm going to run an errand across town, I don't want to be on my phone while I'm driving. And so, what I do, this one is really handy. It's got a little power switch slide on the side to power it on. So I can do that without even looking at the device. And then I can hit this record button also without looking at the device. And I plunk it right in my cup holder of my car. And I can just talk and talk and talk and record all of my thoughts. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to make a little recording just so that we can test it out. And I don't even, with this device, I don't even need to have it up near my face. So I can put it down, like I said, in the cup holder. I can set it on the table. I can just have it out here. It's pretty sensitive and it picks up sound. So I don't really have to pay attention to what I'm doing. And I'm not fumbling with apps to record anything. So I've just now recorded 19 seconds of me rambling about this device. So I will hit stop, and that saved it. It's that easy. And I like this approach because I don't have to think about it. If I have a thought, if I want to talk out an outline for a paper, or if I'm trying out different things, different paragraphs, if I'm trying out different wording, say like this, if I'm trying to figure out what to say in my paper, I can record it. I don't have to worry that the recording's going to shut off because somebody called me. I don't have to worry that if I'm speaking into like an AI tool, that the AI is going to start processing and responding to my prompt. I don't want any of that. I just want to be able to record it. So what do I do once I have this recording? Well, now I'll go to the computer and I'll show you. So once I'm at my computer, this little recorder has its own USB plug, but of course I don't have one handy. So I am going to pop off screen for a second and I'm going to plug it in. Okay, so what you didn't see in the break there was that I plugged this thing in. I had to use an adapter to do it. That's one of the downsides of this because everything is USB-C now. But I plugged this into my computer and then I simply opened the folder with the recordings and I dragged and dropped the MP3 file onto my desktop. So now I have the file on my computer and I use software called, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Aiko or Aiko, Aiko. So let me go to my screen share. So now I'm in my screen share and I can show you how I use Aiko to transcribe because it's pretty easy. I take the MP3 I recorded, I drop it on, and it transcribes it. Now, there are a lot of AI tools out there. I chose this one. I've been using it for a few years now because it does everything locally. It transcribes locally, and I kind of like that. It's pretty simple, easy to use. And it recorded it transcribed my recording, and then I have the options to copy it or to share it, and then I can clear the transcription. But you can also record directly into that app. But I find this really, really useful because I can then have the best of both worlds. I can have my device for recording where I'm not using my phone, I'm not using AI, there's no time pressure. I can just record, record, record. It's also great for recording classes. And then I can drop it in the AI and the AI tool, and it will transcribe for me, and I can use it however I want. I can then take an outline that I've put together and plop it into Google Docs and write my paper. It's pretty it's pretty simple. Now, there are other people who use apps that do all this in one, and that's great. There are a lot of free apps out there. I know Android has the option. I think iPhone also has the option in their recorder app. You can just hit record and it will automatically transcribe. And that's great. You always have your phone with you, so you have no excuse. You can always write your paper. But for people like me who kind of prefer the good old days of recording onto a separate device that just does that, a unitasker, it'll give you a little bit of joy and creativity and help you get things done on the go. If you have any questions or suggestions, or you have a workflow that you'd like to recommend for writing your papers using speech to text, let me know in the comments. And otherwise, I will see you later, midlife learners.